Shore Break Sounds.
Welcome to Over the Falls podcast, episode number 59. This week, we're joined by Gwion and Celyn, two hiking enthusiasts who share their epic journey completing the Pacific Crest Trail in just 141 days. We talk all things hiking, camping, and the life-changing power of the outdoors. This week's episode is sponsored by Shore Break Sounds. Got a story to tell? Turn it into a podcast. They'll record, edit, and upload your podcast to all the major podcast platforms. That's Spotify, Apple, and more. If you want video, they've got you covered. And they'll turn it into short-form content for social media too. Shore Break Sounds. Your voice, professionally produced. How did you get into the great outdoors then? Let's start there, shall we?
Wow. Yeah. I think as a kid, really.
Was it?
Parents, yeah. They used to take us out. There's four boys, four of us. You've had my brothers on. Yeah. So, yeah, they used to drag us out, actually, on the weekend and go for, walks and things. So, yeah, Dad's a big outdoorsman. So that's kind of where it started for me. Mm-hmm. And then, but we were kind of dragged out. All I wanted to do was, play football as a kid and, just play with my mates, Mm-hmm. So they'd drag us out for these long walks on weekends, and we'd be like, oh, do we have to go, and all this. But I think, yeah, as you get older, you appreciate that they started us young and things. So I think that's where it started for me.
For me, we as a family, hiking, just all the outdoors wasn't really a thing growing up.
All right, okay.
We'd have a trailer tent, we'd go down to St David's, camping, things like that, but nothing I'd never been at Pimlimon, Cadridrus with that till I was, mid-20s, I think. So yeah, kind of didn't have much of that experience growing up. And then 2013, I summited Mount Kilimanjaro just out of nowhere with university.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just saw this poster in uni, and I thought, I'll give that a go. That'd be quite cool. And I kind of wanted it more like a experience, a different culture. So going over obviously to Africa for 4 weeks, I think it was. So 7 days up and down Kilimanjaro, absolute eye opener of that kind of world, really. And then we graduated university, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we came home for a year and thought, this is just not really for us. We're not quite ready for the full-time
I always kind of wanted
work.
to go abroad and live abroad. So we applied for a working holiday visa in Canada. So yeah, we managed to get that visa for 2 years. So we went to Vancouver, British Columbia, and kind of I'd say that's where everything
really kicked off.
Eye opened. Wasn't it?
Definitely,
Because
massively.
their culture is just kind of being outdoors.
Yeah.
Winter and summer. Winter they ski and snowboard, and then in the summer, because we arrived in about April time, so it was really nice weather. Just get to know the locals and stuff, and that's what they used to do. Kids would go out on weekends, pack up the car, put a tent in the car, and just go to the mountains stuff. And we were a bit oh, go on, and we'll try this.
Yeah.
So bought a little car, didn't we?
Yeah.
A little Volkswagen Golf. It was
98 or something.
95 or something. Yeah. And then, bought a tent and just sleeping bag and a bit of the gear and just kind of, did that then. Didn't we? Every weekend we'd work, obviously. So Monday, Friday. And then on the weekends we'd go out into the mountains, kind of, with a tent. We'd normally just tent kind of in a front country campground. So that's kind of where you've got all the facilities, so probably what you have here in the UK, if you go camping to a campground, you've got a toilet, you've got facilities where you can wash up and showers and wash your cutlery and bowls and stuff, So that's what we started with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of, and then talking to people, and then they were doing the more backcountry kind of stuff, outdoorsy stuff, you can, put a tent in a bag and kind of go, up to the mountain, up to the lake and just pitch a tent, and stay overnight there and then come back to the car the next day kind of thing. And we're oh, that sounds pretty cool, isn't it? So we tried that a few times, and that's where it kind of grew from.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of just like, you know, a gradual step by step, kind of started slow and then just built from there, really. And, you know, Canada's like the perfect place to do it.
Sounds like an amazing place to live.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah.
The great outdoors.
2 years were there?
2 and a bit years, yeah.
So what were you doing work-wise and stuff as well then?
So in Vancouver, I was doing like admin temporary jobs.
Okay.
And then we were there for 8 months, I think. And then we moved over to Sun Peaks, like a ski resort.
Oh, wow.
So I worked as a hotel receptionist. You were doing housekeeping.
Yeah.
It was like a ski in, ski out hotel. We lived in the hotel. It was perfect. Yeah, it was such a good
Skiing all the time?
Yeah, snowboarding.
Snowboarding,
Picked up,
cool,
yeah.
Because we hadn't done snowboarding before.
No.
You know, we went to that Manchester, was it Snowdome? Just did a day of lessons, and then we're like, okay. And then we went to the Sun Peaks, worked there, and yeah, it was literally just like
couldn't ask
every
for a
day,
better
really. Yeah, on the snowboard, you know.
That's what you need, isn't it? You need like hours and hours of repetition to be good at anything.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
to be living it on the slopes, doing it every day, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what you need. Going back a tiny bit, how did you guys meet, first of all? Have you known like each other your whole lives or not? Or how did you meet?
I didn't expect that question.
Don't worry.
Like prepping all day. You're like,
Oh shit, how did
Plenty more of those, don't worry.
Yeah. A few curveballs. Yeah.
that was a good one.
So we're in school together.
Penworthing?
Penworthing.
Okay, yeah.
So known each other since year 7, really, friends. And then, we got together, 6th form, 18. Then I went to uni, Leeds. You took a year out, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked in town, yeah.
So, we had a bit of break then, and then we came together, and then been together since, really. Yeah. So school, basically.
Yeah, and then how old were you when you went on this trip to Canada then?
24?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we finished university.
Yeah, worked about 18 months in town.
Yeah.
So, and then, managed to get the visa, which is, amazing, because you had to apply separately, and there's only X amount of visas, I think 5,000 visas a year or something at the time.
For Canada now, yeah?
For Canada,
Right.
for this working holiday visa. It's like a young person visa. And we were just lucky that we applied individually and got it, you know.
Cool.
So, just like, she told our bosses, we can work for this amount of time, and then we'll be off to Canada.
And the thing was, we'd never even lived together, and all of a sudden we're just packing up a bag going to live halfway across the world.
How was the intensity
I was like,
between you two? I mean, not living together, and then all of a sudden,
Who does
all
that?
of the time together, hi you guys.
Because I was thinking that earlier, I was thinking we hadn't even lived together. We were living obviously in uni, and then parents when we came back. And I remember my friends asking, like, are you a bit nervous about that? And I was like, oh, actually, I hadn't even thought about it. Like, if it was, give it a go and see what happens, basically.
In the deep end.
Yeah,
Why not?
pretty much, yeah.
It went all right.
It went,
we found,
well, obviously.
found a flat.
Well, that's good. Go back to the story of when you were in Canada and you'd camp in the tent away from the car, not in a campsite. Initially, I'm thinking wildlife. Have you got surely there's bears and all sorts of stuff up there?
Yeah.
Any encounters with this sort of thing or not?
Not in Vancouver area. So we lived in Vancouver. Then we went to Sun Peaks, which is kind of in the middle of British Columbia, for a ski season. Then we moved to Banff, so Banff National Park. That's where we started seeing like proper wildlife and stuff, wasn't it? So we had a few encounters with obviously bears. And our first encounter, it was quite funny, we were talking about this today, was that grizzly bear. Yeah. So we were on this hike, it's called Castle Mountain, I think. And we were coming back down the mountain, and then we just came around the corner. I was like, oh, Kel, there's a bear, like literally in front of us. And I don't know, it was probably, not far, was it?
No.
20 metres?
Yeah.
20 metres. And it was just kind of like clawing the floor, because they eat like roots and things, they're omnivores, so they eat like plants and stuff as well. And I was like, right, you've been taught to kind of not like run away, basically. And I look round, and it's just me. Kelly's gone. She's gone. She ran back up the hill.
Oh no!
Like, Cal, just stay still. Don't move. Because it wasn't. It kind of seen us. It knew that we were there.
Yeah, it full
but
on
it was just,
looked at us.
Yeah, it just wasn't that bothered. It was just clawing away that floor and like
Yeah.
eating the roots. And then I turned around. It's just me, and I'm just like oh, thanks. You know, they say, you know, if you can run quicker than the other man, then go for it.
Everyone for himself in that situation.
Yeah.
So they're the dangerous ones, aren't they?
Yeah. But like normally, they're not really that fussed with humans. They don't really know what you are. You know, normally they'd probably go for like a deer or you know like a marmot or something like that. You know, they're aggressive when they got cubs and stuff. The mothers, you know, because they're territorial. This one, it didn't have any cubs.
No, relatively young.
Okay, yeah.
And I think the first thing you see is like the hump. Like you can distinct between black bears and grizzlies is like massive, just like muscle between the shoulders.
Right.
Okay.
And we saw that and we thought that's definitely a grizzly. And it looked, you know, it wasn't huge, but you know, you knew it was a bigger than a cub kind of thing.
But I think they get a bad rap in the UK because obviously, you know, you see like the film like The Revenant or something like that, you know, and everyone thinks that's what bears
they're out
do,
to kill people.
when they're not that bothered.
Just,
you know, you just need to respect them. Like it's their territory. You know, just back off. Like we had bear spray, so you know.
I was going to ask about that. Any sort of like health and safety stuff, or is it just the bear spray and then just a little bit of like education on what you're meant to do if you are in a situation?
Yeah, and the bear spray is really strong. Like when we were on the bus, wasn't it? We went from Banff to Lake Louise, and a bear spray went off in the bus.
And not even a lot.
No,
like
just the tiniest spray, and the whole bus had to be evacuated. It was so
Is it a bit like mace? Like I've got no idea.
Spray. Yeah, really strong.
Like
spray.
It would make you really ill. So
you could feel it in the back of your throat. You're
so
like,
it's not something to like mess around with, and it's obviously really strong. But obviously you need that if a bear's charging at you, you know, you want to make sure that you've got something that can protect you.
You're scared then when you're standing there looking at this thing?
No, to be honest, I got my phone out and started filming it. Because I, you know, I get to assess the situation, and he was very calm, you know, and he knew I was there. I wasn't like a threat to him.
But also, you were seeing bears every day with your work, so
so I used to work for the park service in Banff, so I used to see bears like every day
from the safety of your car.
From the safety of my car. So kind of used to them, and you know, been taught kind of how to deal if you come across one and things like that. Just give it space and just kind of back off really slowly, you know. And it just wandered off into the woods, and then I was like, Kel, you can come back down now. I scared it off.
I'm okay, everybody.
I'm okay.
So when did you start going on like longer walks, longer hikes, like together?
Well, we went to New Zealand after Canada, didn't we?
Yeah. Lovely.
And then we started doing a bit more in New Zealand, I'd say. So we do like 2 nights, and we got comfortable with that. We did 3 nights. You know, you kind of build yourself up quite slowly.
What, 3 nights of like camping?
Yeah, so I'll park a car and just go out for 3 nights, you know, and then come back to the car, wasn't it? And then we did a year in New Zealand, and we went to the States then from New Zealand before coming back home in whatever year it was, and we spent 3 months in the States, and that's where we kind of did longer hikes, wasn't it? So we hired a car and just travelled around the American West, like Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, and just Colorado.
Wow.
And just we started about 7 days was our longest then, wasn't it? We done a few 7 days on the American West.
So what sort of distances were you covering in those 7 days then? I know it's not about distance, but like how far were you going?
160 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's that, 100 miles?
Yeah,
roughly?
around that. Are you seeing like other people, or are you in the wilderness here? You were sort of like not seeing many people around?
Mix, wasn't it?
Yeah, mixed really.
Some were like quite out there. And then some were, you go on Google and you search like what are the best backpacking trips in the US, you know. So those were the ones we were kind of doing. Yeah. So you would see
Colorado was quite busy in a way.
Colorado was busy,
The 7 day in the Wind River Mountains, it was kind of half wasn't on trail, it's kind of find your own way, like 60% of it. So we came across, I think, a party of like 3 in 7 days, was it?
Yeah, about 5 people in about 7 days.
Barely saw anyone in that on that, because it's quite an unknown mountain range,
like in Wyoming, because it's so close to like Yellowstone. like everyone kind of hides the Yellowstone, and this mountain range, it's like...
And it was probably one of the best hikes we'd ever done.
Amazing.
It was insane, yeah.
I've never been to that area of America,
Love
but
to.
like I've seen places
insane.
like Montana and stuff like that. It looks incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks- I'd like to go there.
you
Done
have
a bit of the
Definitely.
States, but I haven't done any of those cool places. No.
You know, before you go off on these like long hikes, do you have to tell people where you're going and you're expected back at this time? And that's where my brain goes. Like,
Yeah.
I just, I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, an itinerary.
Yeah.
And then we also have like a Garmin InReach GPS phone. It's like a mini phone. So every night we text our location to my
like a
my
satellite
parents. Yeah.
device.
So they
fine.
would always know where we are, and we didn't used to though, did we? I do
No.
think back, thinking that was a little bit irresponsible in a way, but because
you.
you're just like, oh, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we got this, I was like, God, this is literally like a lifeline here. And there's also an SOS button if anything did happen, you know.
Perfect.
So yeah, people definitely know where we are.
It's quite cool actually, yeah, because you can see it on the text on like parents' phone, you know, like there's a GPS point on the map and like a pin, isn't it, where we are.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Oh, you
where
could
we
just
were.
text a mobile phone
Yeah.
number.
No, it was
no.
preset.
Right,
So
got you.
you can get 2 phone numbers.
Yeah.
So I had my mum's and we had Kellen's mum's
Got you.
number. So every night they would get a text off this InReach.
I bet they loved having that because
Oh,
like they're
yeah.
just gonna be worrying
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah.
100%.
It's what you do when your parents and stuff, isn't it? So I bet they were
Yeah.
loving having that message in that day or that evening. Do you come across any like I don't know why my mind goes to this, but because you're isolated, etc. Do you come across any like weird people or anything, or like where you hike and you think like this could be like here you're on your own, you're isolated, maybe you bump into 1 or 2 other people. I would just be quite weary of it in certain situations. Or were they all good?
Yeah, no, I think pretty good. Like,
Everyone's out
Yeah.
there doing the same thing.
Doing the
you
same
are.
thing as you guys are.
Yeah, never felt uncomfortable at any time really. But then also we are together. Like if I was on my
true,
own,
you're not like fully isolated.
then I
on
would
your
feel
own.
a bit
Yeah.
on edge slightly.
But you weren't in any like hunting zones or anything like that, because I don't know exactly where these hikes were.
Not really. Probably weren't in the season. We were always hiking summertime, really. So I don't know. It's more like an autumn kind of
Okay.
season, the hunting
Fine.
season. I
Yeah.
think so.
Actually, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, nothing.
No,
No, that's
no.
nice though that everybody
Yeah.
was
We
there.
watch too much crime, I think, mate.
Yeah, I know, man. My mind goes to almost like
Same
the
as me.
worst thing.
Yeah,
Not all
yeah.
the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just think like, just sometimes
It
your
can
mind
happen,
thinks the
can't
worst
it?
thing.
What about
Yeah.
gear? You must be carrying a fair bit of gear with you for like 6-7 days, for example.
Yeah, food. A lot of food.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, food. Food is the biggest weight,
Yeah.
probably, isn't it? Like
Definitely.
our gear is quite light. Like we've spent quite a bit of money on like quite ultralight, they call it in the industry, kind of like equipment. So like our bag, sleeping pad, tent, like minimalistic kind of weight. You know, like altogether without food and water, like our bag's probably 7-8 kilograms. You know, so
Really?
yeah, with all our
With
gear.
everything in it?
Yeah,
But
no
not
food
or
and
water.
no
Oh, okay.
water.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So obviously, the more days you do, the more food. Of
course,
goes
yeah.
in the bag. Yeah.
How about
but-
the water situation as well? Do you normally go on hikes where you were able to utilize like running clean water from, I don't know, stream, or would you
No.
take your water?
So we'd have a filter. So you'd pop the salt soya squeeze. So you'd have like a smart bottle, say.
Yeah.
Fill that up with water of some sort, and then you'd put the soya squeeze on, and then you just drink it from there. Then
It's like a really small, like,
like a
I don't know, it's
filter.
like a
Yeah.
5-inch kind of like, not straw, but you just screw
Cap.
it onto the
Yeah.
top of the water bottle.
Yeah.
How good is that filter? Can you?
it's
Oh,
pretty
it's-
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
You put
Well,
anything in there?
Yeah,
Anything, like-
99.9.
Really? Because I was gonna
Yeah.
even like say, because in my mind I just think like if you were like say stagnant water, I'd be thinking I wouldn't want to drink.
Oh, but you should see some of the
Yeah.
water we've
But-
drank.
Wow.
Like, you wouldn't
Really?
go close
No.
close to it.
I would
no.
just no way. That's
Yeah.
But
blown
this
my mind.
filters
Technology.
so good.
Yeah.
It's
Incredible,
crazy.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you also have a syringe. So when we finish, say, a camping trip, you clean it out then to make sure that obviously that all that gunk, because it can block up, and
Yeah.
the water that comes out there is really slow. So you got to make sure that you're cleaning it out every time like you come back from a trip. But yeah, it's obviously a game changer.
What
Like,
invention.
It's
30,
amazing.
40 quid.
Yeah.
That is just
How much
this
is it?
weight in gold, right?
40
Yeah.
40 quid?
Yeah, yeah.
That's really good.
So
Yeah.
you just have that and
Yeah.
drink literally any water.
That is
Yeah.
literally the life between. Imagine if you forgot that.
I know.
Well, yeah. Well,
Because
you'd
I
have
was
to
going to ask you,
boil,
is
yeah.
there one individual item that you have taken on every single hike? That was one of my questions, and is it that? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah,
one
I guess
item
it would be, yeah,
do you know
in
what
a
I mean?
way.
Or what about like a creature comfort? You say you get it down to 6 or 7 kilos. But have you got something that you bring on every hike? You think, oh, I'm going to definitely take that. Or are you pretty good
Pillow.
at minimalistic?
Yeah,
thing?
Well, but it's tiny. It's a blow-up pillow, you know.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's a game changer actually. Because
Yeah.
I've only found it like the last 2 years.
We used
Before
to
that,
sleep on like pillow, and like, you know, and your neck just
Oh,
goes
yeah.
so
I'd
sore.
want a pillow.
It's horrible.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like airline ones. yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
Pacific Crest Trail then? Is that the biggest one you've done? It's got to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just to give it some context, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, 2,650 miles,
That's
and
it.
it passes through 25 national forests and 7 national parks, and it can take 4 to 6 months to complete.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
So you've done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
done it.
How long does it take you? Do you mind me asking?
141 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty full on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was full on.
It was.
I don't know. You just get so immersed in it, you know, because it's been on the to-do list for quite a long time.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, we were supposed to do it in 2020. To do the Pacific Crest Trail, you're supposed to get a permit. So there's only 50 permits a day. So it's very competitive, very well-known hike. You know, this is in the world, you know, now of backpacking, isn't it? So
yeah.
we had to get a permit, and then we had to go to the US Embassy in London to get a visa, to get a B2 visa, which allows you to be in the US for up to 6 months. So if you just go in the US, you can get a stamp there 90 days.
90 days.
But you have to
Okay,
leave
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had that debacle, didn't we? So,
Yeah.
so which was fine. We got the permit, and then we got the visa in 2019. And then what we did was we flew back to New Zealand. After our year in New Zealand, we came home for a bit, and then we went back and then to kind of travel around New Zealand. And then while we were traveling, obviously, so we flew back there January 2020. Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Yeah. So, so we had a flight booked from Auckland to Los Angeles at the end of March, and travelled all across New Zealand, loads of hikes, amazing. And then obviously COVID happened, and then we were like panicking a little bit because obviously countries are closing down, the world was closing down. US was like, they closed the trail, officially closed the trail. So we were in New Zealand, like, oh God, what do we do? Do we stay in New Zealand or go home? And everything around us was closing. Like the flights to Australia weren't letting anyone in. Asia weren't letting anyone in from New Zealand. And we were just so lucky that we had this flight booked already from Auckland to Los Angeles, and that US was still letting people travel through the US to get back home.
Okay, got you.
So, like, we were sitting in a cafe, and randomly my uncle and auntie were in New Zealand at the same time. So we met up, and like we were discussing like what should we do and blah blah blah. And then, Boris Johnson closed put a lockdown on the UK, and then Jacinda Ardern put a lockdown on New Zealand. And we were like, well, we did think about staying, didn't we?
We were so close to staying.
We were so close because Celyn found this like woofing farm who were happy to take us on, and we'd work on the farm. But then we were just like, I don't know, it was going into New Zealand kind of winter time.
Okay.
So what was that, March? So Southern Hemisphere winter. So we were like, we just go home. So we booked a flight, luckily, like one of the last BA flights from Los Angeles back to London. So we got the Auckland to LA to Heathrow, and then got back to COVID. So so we tried to do the Pacific Crest Trail in 2020, but obviously couldn't. So we reapplied then in 2022. So 2022 is when we officially did the trail.
How much sort of prep does it take then? How much sort of organisation, logistics? I mean, a lot of time and effort. I know you probably had quite a lot of time because it was in lockdown, but that must have taken a lot of organising. Or did it?
Not as much as you probably
No.
expect.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, once you've got the permit and the visa, it's just
And you've
kind
got
of
the
like,
right kit.
we already got the right kit.
Yeah.
You just book flights and kind of go, really. I think.
Do you go from the bottom up, so like Mexico up, or is it like which
Mexico's
way around?
Canada, is that right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
You can do either way.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you guys
we
did
went Mexico,
south north.
Yeah.
Got you. So
northbound.
where were you? Were you on the Tijuana, California side, or where was it when you were going up on this trail, if you know what I mean? Whereabouts you
So we
start?
flew into San Diego.
Yeah.
And then the minibus was about 2 or 3 hours coming in.
Like inland.
Inland,
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go up from there.
Yeah. So
Got
you're literally like touching the border.
Yeah,
like,
got you.
It's
Yeah.
Put your hand through the wall,
you're in
can't you?
it was
So
quite
over to
surreal.
Mexico.
Yeah, and there's like
Yeah.
a monument then with the Pacific Crest Trail, how many miles you've got, and you just think, the next monument I'm gonna see is at the Canadian border, So it's it's
I know
quite
what
an
you mean.
overwhelming place at the start, because you're like, God, I've been looking at so many videos and blogs and things like that, and you're standing there thinking, right, here we go, we're gonna
This is it now.
one step at a time, go for it, hopefully. So
Mentally then,
Yeah.
when you think, was it one step at a time? Because if you think about like it's
100%,
2,650 miles to go, you'd be like, oh my God, I've got a long way here. So
Yeah.
just split it up mentally.
yeah,
And did you have a plan for each day, how far you're going to go?
Just take it day by day.
Day by
yeah,
day.
at the start you start slow, like the mileage is low, because obviously if you doing 30 miles plus, you're gonna get injuries, blisters, even mentally that just wouldn't be a great place to
No.
be. So you're starting like 10, 15 miles, and then because you're picking up food every 3 or 4 days, well the longest we'd gone was 7 days, you're cutting it down to like more smaller kind of sections
Yeah,
in a
of
way.
course. Yeah.
You're not seeing it as like, I've got 2,000 miles plus to go.
Yeah.
You're seeing it more of like, okay, I've got 5 days to the next town. Right, let's get to there. Got here. Okay, cool. Let's resupply it and go again, kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's where our headspace was at with that, wasn't it? In a way.
Because we'd been, it was nearly 3 years, because if we were thinking about 2019 to 2022, it'd be three years of us kind of like looking at things.
Yeah.
Kind of, half planning, and we were just so eager to get going, really, when we so it was just kind of everything had been building up to this moment, and we were just rearing to go.
I bet.
Yeah.
The world was open again, wasn't it, as well? So it must have been so exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Was there any particularly like best bits or worst bits of that trail?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, for me, So the start of the trail is it's like the desert, basically. You could do 700 miles through the Southern California desert, but desert's a lot more green than you think. It's not like it's not like the Sahara Desert. It's just sand. It's really green, but very, very hot. And then after that, you come into the Sierra Nevada mountains, in California, and that's the highlight for many, many people. Yeah, it's just. You're there for like 3-4 weeks of just hiking through these incredible mountain sceneries, mountain passes, because you get there quite early in the season. So we started April 8th, and we got to the Sierra Nevada about middle of May. So still quite a bit of snow around. So the contrast between the grey rock, the snow, the alpine lakes, there's a bit of greenery here and there, and you just kind of like, you're not seeing many people at all up in the mountains there. So that's kind of was my highlight. I don't know about...
I'd say the same. I think for me, we were heading up Muir Pass, which is one of the passes in the Sierra, and it was like a blanket of snow. It felt like you were in winter wonderland, and you'd get to the pass, and there's like a shelter, like a rock shelter, and it's just, you just, like I said, just felt like you were in like winter wonderland. You're just walking through snow for basically a whole
half
day.
the day was just sort of walking on snow.
And then we ended the day in swimming in like a iceberg lake, just like, God, I won't get a chance to do this at home, that kind of pinch me moment. That was definitely a highlight for me, one of the days.
Like the tallest mountain in the lower 48 states, so outside of Alaska and Hawaii, is on the trail, basically. So called Mount Whitney, and we summited that for sunrise, didn't we? So we camped, I don't know, about 8k 10k out, and then got up at 1 a.m. in the morning, put our head torches on, and just like, it was just incredible, amazing. Like, not a cloud in the sky, and it was just like the stars were unbelievable, you know.
Clear.
Yeah, just clear, you know. It was so clear. You could kind of see the path, you know, without head torches.
Yeah.
And we got to the top, didn't we? So this Mount Whitney's 4,400 meters. So it's quite tall.
Yeah, that's high.
It's
Yeah,
really high,
you're already quite high.
Okay.
So you're probably at like 2,800 already, so you got about 1,500 meters of elevation gain. But to get there for sunrise, you know, we were there just before sunrise, weren't we?
Yeah, about an hour before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
lovely.
like the colours is just you don't forget that kind of image really of that red sunrise. You just another pinch me moment, thinking
I bet.
this is
Just
insane.
peaks and peaks all around you, you know.
Oh, that's stunning.
Oh, it was
Amazing.
Anyone
yeah.
else up there or not, or just the two of you?
There's a few
People,
Yeah.
it's quite a thing to do if you are doing
Okay.
Pacific Crest Trail. It is
Yeah.
like you kind of do want to summit Mount Whitney just to say like you've done it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
Can you
Yeah,
feel the
sunrise.
altitude when you're there?
Yeah.
Is in the thinness of like, you know, the air, etc.
massively,
Yeah.
Like I think we'd been walking wasn't too bad when we were actually walking to the summit, but we spent about an hour and a half up there, and I could really start feeling like dizzy, sick, really cold. I remember just feeling like
It was
everything was
freezing.
getting numb. All our water had frozen, so we didn't have any water. So it was definitely felt that kind of altitude. But obviously I'd kind of experienced altitude sickness on Kilimanjaro.
'Cause that's like 5,000 or something, isn't it? So-
that was another like altitude experience. Wasn't as bad as that, but definitely felt it up there. So
Because some people get affected by it and others don't, do they? You don't get affected by it?
I was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have like tight chest or anything like that?
No,
way.
nothing.
way.
No. I think it was just it was freezing up there.
Yeah.
You know,
So
4,400 meters up. You know, and it's the sun hasn't heated up the day. You
course
know,
not,
and it was
no.
quite windy as well. Wasn't it?
people would carry up their sleeping bags because they knew how cold it was going to be. So I was like, oh, that's quite a
Every
smart
piece
move.
of clothing on. You know.
should have
No
done
water.
that.
T-shirt going on the top of it. What do we do? How was your like food management? Obviously, you like planned this and you thought about this for literally years, but like, did you kind of mess up anywhere along the way in your food management? So say like you were hiking and you knew you had to hike say 3-4 days to get food. Were you like running low by the time you get to like these towns or to get any food, or were you pretty good on it?
I think before the trip, I feel like we're foodie people. We love food. Like you'd compare some people's food pack with ours. You'd be like, oh god, okay, you carry a lot of food, kind of thing. And I think the more as the days go on, you kind of suss out how much you eat. Like when you go into the supermarket, when we were resupplying, you would look for the highest calorie in everything. You know,
Got you.
That was just calories.
Yeah.
So we never felt like we'd ran out of food at any point really.
What kind of stuff do you buy then from the super? Like, did you go convenient?
Everything, I guess, is it?
Don't
Get your hand on.
You're gonna be disgusted.
Like, yeah,
It's calories, you
If
need
it's
it.
high calorie, what kind of stuff do you eat?
when you're in town and you've got time to kill, you just eat. It's called hiker hunger. So the more you walk, like the more like it's just like a bottomless belly. You just eat and eat and eat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But so you'd eat anything in town. But like on the path, like we'd have oats for breakfast, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Like tortillas for lunch, and then dried mash.
Yeah, instant mash. We'd have that every
Smash.
night for 4.5 months.
Quite a lot of carbs.
Yeah, massive, easy. Like you boil water straight in, no faffing around with
smash,
it. So
Either of you get hangry at all, or do you get a bit hangry when there's nothing?
Yeah.
Hungry people. Like,
Yeah,
I bet.
definitely, yeah.
100%, yeah.
You both know when you need to stop and then
When you've hiked 30 miles, you know, and you're just like,
Time to
right,
stop,
I
have a
need dinner.
Snickers.
blazing on.
Get an instant mash on.
Yeah.
Or what flavour? Because they're different flavours as well. You know,
Bacon
what
one's
flavour
quite nice.
we
That's
want.
I like that one. I can still taste that from. I used to go on Euro camp holidays with my parents back in the day in France, and we used to eat a ton of that smash.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's easy, isn't it?
Oh, it's great in those canteens.
It is.
It's so good.
Yeah. But now I can't touch like mash, even
I
like
bet.
potato
Bet.
mash. I'm like, oh. But on a camping trip, I'll do it quite easily because I know it's
You
just
have
so
to though,
easy.
don't you? After those as well. Like, you
Exactly.
have to get the calories. in,
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
you, to do
massively.
it.
Yeah. Definitely.
So how many states, or do you even know how many states you worked your way through on this trail sort of thing? You must have gone into quite a few, right?
Yeah.
Quite a few different...
Well,
different-
three. It goes through 3 states, yeah.
Oh, so long, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
California, Oregon, and Washington State.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
But California is so
Massive.
big.
Yeah.
It takes
unbelievable.
up more than half the hike, isn't it?
I
It's
think
like,
it's
Was
just
it?
under halfway,
it's
I
like
think.
1,800 miles or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Something
Yeah.
like that. So the Oregon-California border is like a big landmark on the trail for people. Of
course it is,
because
yeah.
they're like, wow, we've done California. That's the longest state, and there's so much diversity and variety in California. You know, like I said, the desert. Then you got the mountains, and then you got forest, and then you get to that border, and it's like a very big monumental
Milestone, really,
milestone,
isn't it?
isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Because the halfway of the trail is in California, isn't it?
Yeah,
So you,
it
you
is,
hit the
yeah.
halfway
Oh, that's
point.
crazy thinking
I
about
know.
it. So like
California,
70 odd days in or something, you're still in California
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
mad.
exactly. Yeah, it really put into perspective how huge California is. You know, it's like a big state, but
Yeah.
actually walking it from one end to the other, I'm thinking, yeah, this is actually a massive area of the US, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is quite an important question. I mean, I'm guessing it's a no because you seem like quite up for it people, but do you ever feel tempted to sort of quit halfway through? Or if you didn't even feel like quitting, what was the toughest moment through that 140 days or however long it took you all the way through? Do you have any real down moments or just tough moments?
Well, we were saying earlier, I don't think, and we tell people, I don't think we had once a thought process of we want to get off trail. Like, didn't even cross my mind. Obviously, you have hard days, like as you expect, you know, like say if you've walked 30 plus miles, you get to bed and everything's kind of aching. The next morning, you're really aching. Obviously, that's you're physically tired, but it's more of a mental game, I think. Massive mental push to kind of get you through the days, if that makes sense. And I think we're very much goal orientated. Like we had in our head, we are getting to Canada. Like I think if you've got a slight doubt, then that's when you're going to mentally fall, I think. But yeah, there was obviously, like I said, hard days, you know, missing home maybe a bit. But yeah, I don't feel...
Not a single day.
No.
I guess you're fully committed as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you don't get much more committed. You're in like the middle of the US on a trail hike and you got all the kit. As in like you're just fully committed, aren't you?
100%,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we'd saved a lot of money to do the hike as well.
True.
You know, it's not cheap. And, you know, just quit our jobs to do it as well. And obviously we're waiting 2 years, 3 years to do it.
that on top of it as well.
So we just had that goal, didn't we? The drive, determination to get to the end.
And I think just the lifestyle as well is such a simple way of living. Like, even though, you know, all you're thinking about is shelter, food, water, miles, kind of. And going from like, everyday life where there's so many stresses and
distraction,
exactly, massively. Like, you're on trail, you're just one foot in front of the other, and it's just the simplicity of it. I think it's something that really kind of held me to that trail, to be like, I'm getting to Canada, basically.
Sounds bliss
nice,
to me.
It's a nice way of living, isn't it? It's a really nice way of living.
It's quite an addictive way of wanting to live, I think. And I think when we finished, well, I wanted to turn around and go back down south. I was like, I don't want to finish.
No way. So when you got to the Canada border, you just wanted to turn back round?
I did, yeah.
I'm guessing you didn't.
That's incredible.
She could have persuaded me, but I think I was happy to finish.
To have done it.
I like my knee was hurting by then, wasn't it? Like the last 3 days, my knee was playing up.
Yeah.
And, but that's the thing. Like, I would definitely do it again.
Okay.
Even though we've done it, and there's so many other trails around the world that we could do. You know, I'd definitely do it again. It's like the creme de la creme of like through hiking, that through hiking world, backpacking world, the Pacific Crest Trail. You know, it's been on top of so many people's lists of the hikes to do. You know, Brilliant. And we know there's a guy this year, isn't he? Yeah, like hiked the same year as us. So you just meet so many people, you know, become kind of, you know, friends with them, you know, we follow them on Instagram, and then, you know, there's people redoing the trail like this year that hiked our year, isn't there? You know?
Yeah, and you're with that mindset, the same mindset of people.
Yeah.
That's really powerful as well. I think that keeps you wanting to carry on when you're around that kind of energy of other people. That's huge, because you don't get that in everyday life, like people walking 30 plus miles a day for 100, like people are always like, what, like don't understand. But when you're surrounded by people that are doing the same thing as us, it's a really comforting place, I think. And when we were saying before, like going into towns and things, I'd find that really overwhelming, because you've been out in nature for 4, 5, 6 days, you know, you're stinking, you look like crap, like but you don't care, because out there you're just thinking miles, shelter, water, coming into a supermarket, doing our resupply, seeing all these people, like cars, people doing their shops, you know, it's just a lot to take in.
Overload,
and
I
you
guess,
just want to just escape, you want to go back, you just say, oh no, I've had enough of this, I'm going.
It's like the modern world, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You're like confronted with the modern world, and then you're just probably thinking, F that.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't get a chance to escape that modern world, especially with phones and things like that. It's constantly around you. So when we do these like trips and things, it's a chance to just totally switch off. And
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
No, it does.
You know,
it does, to be fair.
when you got close to that finish line, I'll call it, what could you see the border? Could you see it and you were like, oh my God, there it is? What was that feeling like?
You can't see it from a distance.
Okay.
There's a lot of like, you are walking through like trees and things like that. But when you actually see the monument, it was quite an overwhelming, surreal. Like you're standing there thinking, have I just done that? It took a few days, I think, to come off trail and be like, oh wow, I've actually done that, wasn't it? It was
process it.
And we sat there for like 4 hours, I think, just staring at the monument. We were just staring at, like, there's other people around us, and we're just sitting there like, so what do we do now? Like, we've reached the border.
Like you've seen this monument in pictures, you know, other people who've done it over the years and things, and you know, you question yourself, are you ever gonna get there to see it? Because the border's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's just this. There's not even like a fence. It's just like it's a forest, and they've cut a line in the forest, kind of to separate, you know, the US and Canada, and then they've just plunked this monument on the trail, haven't they?
Normally you could walk into Canada, couldn't you? But with COVID, they wouldn't allow people. So you get to the monument, and normally as you'd carry on into Canada, but you had to turn around and walk the 30 miles back to the main, to the highway.
Didn't actually go to Canada just because of the COVID, even in 2022 or whatever.
Yeah, they had a thing, didn't they, that we weren't allowed. But obviously you'd step in, like, you know.
Completed it.
Touched it and then ran away.
So what did you do once you completed it? Because I was thinking that maybe you'd go and chill out in Canada a bit, but I guess you chilled out in America for a bit, in the very northern part.
Well, we had to hike back to like 30 miles to the trailhead, go to this little town. And then we spent one night there and got hitchhiked to this other town, and then went back out hiking. So what was it, the North Cascades National Park? So I've always wanted to go there because we were so close to Vancouver. It's not that far from Vancouver, and it's just off the Pacific Crest Trail, isn't it? And there's like these amazing hikes in this national park. So we were just like, well, we've got time to kind of kill, because we'd booked a return flight and stuff. So we just went back out, got permits to the national park, and just went camping, hiking, backpacking in this national park for maybe 4 or 5 nights, wasn't it? It wasn't that long. And then we got a friend in Vancouver. He's actually from Aberystwyth and he lives in Vancouver. So we got a Greyhound or whatever, to Vancouver then, crossed the border at an actual border crossing.
Quality.
Got the stamp. Went to Vancouver, and then actually went hiking with him then. Well, we tried to go hiking with him, long story, but eventually me and Celyn actually went hiking for 2-3 nights into the mountains there. And then we had to get our flight. And then
back to the UK then?
Back to the UK.
Back to reality.
Back to the real world.
That was huge.
I bet.
Bit of a shock.
Massively.
Yeah.
That took a bit of time to readjust, I think. Just like I said earlier, the busyness of everyday life, the small worries that us on trail just seems so stupid. But in real life, it's a big thing. And even I remember going into Superdrug because I was like, I need to, I guess wash my hair again and, moisturise it and shower, I guess, after 4 months, and walking into Superdrug. And I was just so overwhelmed by how many products there were of the same, shampoo, but there was about 60 different shampoos.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I've been using this tiny Head and Shoulders for the last 4 months, washing it every, 2 or 3 weeks. And then I'm walking in and there's so much stuff where it was the over consuming of everyday life that really, really took me aback, because we've been living like a turtle, everything on our back for 4.5 months. That simplicity was a really powerful thing that I took from it. Just the simplicity, how you don't need as much stuff. We've got so much stuff.
There's a lot of unnecessary things.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Things,
What's been good is we've travelled quite a bit, and we lived in Canada for 2 years, New Zealand for a year, travelled around for 2 or 3 years in between, and then coming back to Aber's kind of Aber's actually quite nice.
Oh,
yeah, we were just we actually loved it.
Yeah.
And we were because we were, funny, if we were going to do the PCT in 2020, we were going to fly from the US to Australia to do a working holiday visa there. But when we came back afterwards, after actually doing the PCT, we were you know what, we're going to kind of settle.
Yeah, you crave that roots in a way. You want that as you get older, especially. I think you want that kind of security and roots, because when you've been jumping around a bit we have for the last few years, it was amazing. But I don't know, after the PCT, we're actually let's put some roots down. And obviously Aberystwyth and Wales is amazing. There's some of the places here we're so lucky, and for me, I had to leave to appreciate it.
Definitely.
And really
I think a lot of people do. I know some people don't, but a lot of people do. I think you can really appreciate it when you go and see the world. You think, actually, for an amazing area.
We are,
We're lucky.
We're so
safe
lucky.
Enough around here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of worse places to live.
Just the hiking in Wales is
I bet,
pretty cool. Because we did the Cambrian Way as
What's
well.
that one?
So it's from Cardiff to Conwy. So it's all along the crest of the middle of Wales. That was in actually 2020.
Oh, you did that?
So, but it was when things had opened up a bit. But we were trying to scratch that itch, and so we managed
Keep
to
it going.
do that.
Yeah.
I think that was amazing.
That was
we didn't
insane.
really realise how amazing Wales was until we actually walked the length of it, south to north. Through Banabachiniog, and then the Cambrian Mountains, and then Eryri. It's just we got it on our doorstep.
And to be able to walk your country, the same with the PCT, foot by foot, it's just a really a powerful feeling that you've done. You've seen your country from one end to the other. I thought that was something that I took from it. I'm amazed really, and I think that was an insight of what Wales has to offer massively.
Definitely.
So.
That's a good place.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really good place. Have you got anything on the bucket list to do?
Loads.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Settled, but not that settled.
Exactly.
Well, have you got anything on the horizon you think I actually really want to do that?
Well, we got 2 trips this summer.
Yeah.
So we're going to the Dolomites in Italy to do the Alta Via 1. So that'll be 7 days. So that's kind of the creme de la creme of Dolomite hiking. And then we're going to go to the Pyrenees for 2 weeks.
Lovely.
Nice.
So it was on the to-do list when this is called the Pyrenees Hout Route. So it's from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean, all across the Pyrenees. It takes about 50 days. But obviously with work and stuff, we've taken annual leave, so we've got 2 weeks. So we're going to do the middle section, which is kind of arguably the best section where the biggest mountains are, and things. So that's what we've got on the list this year, this summer. So even though we've bought a house and got good jobs and stuff now, we still want to use our annual leave and still get the tent out and just escape the real
people
world,
book holidays, go on a beach all inclusive. We're we'll go walking for X amount of days.
Well, that's your passion though, isn't it?
Not knocking it at all. I never did an all-inclusive in my life until I had children. That was the first time I ever went on an all-inclusive. Bar of surfing holiday, we did one on a surfing holiday.
It was just really cheap. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was
just because it was cheap.
Eat way too much as well. I did have a question and I completely forgot. What was it? No, that's it. You are doing high rocks, aren't you? You forgot to mention that.
Or are you not doing that? That's
That was the sauna chat,
There it
wasn't
is.
it? The
It
sauna
was.
chat.
I knew there was something else. So have you done it?
Or not?
Well,
No.
Oh.
no,
We haven't done it.
Oh no, we haven't done it.
No.
No, we were like half training for it. We've been training like high rocks for like what 8 months, kind of,
Yeah.
just because we enjoy doing
Quite
it.
a
in
while.
the
8 months is a
gym.
good stint of
Yeah.
training or
Yeah,
something. You know?
but we just enjoy doing it in the gym. You know, we haven't done like a full one or anything. But
Potentially. At
Potentially.
the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
really popular at the moment.
It
we
is,
were
I
talking
think.
about it briefly in the sauna, but it does seem like it's like absolutely boom. There was one in Cardiff I saw.
Yeah.
There's like a London one and stuff. And
Do you know
just
it's an
seems
abbreviation of Hybrid Rockstar?
Oh, really?
Do you not know that?
Hybrid Rockstar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Oh, there you go.
Truth, that is.
Pub quiz.
I did not know that either.
Yeah.
I did not know that either.
Yeah. Cool. I think I'm happy with that. You happy?
Yeah.
You happy with that? Everything? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Right.
good, yeah.
Favorite films?
I had well, one or two.
Yeah.
Shrek.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a
number
good
one.
film.
Yeah, I just love it. Yeah, I just like.
It's quite cozy and it's quite funny as
Yeah,
well.
it's funny.
Donkey's
yeah,
class.
Donkey's class. Yeah, I quite like Eddie Murphy. I like his earlier stuff
Yes.
as well, like
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop. So it's kind of my kind of comedy. You
Okay.
know, that. Yeah. So.
Shrek. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think I might know what The Revenant. I think that's like insane. I think just the music and
yeah.
the
Incredible.
backdrop, the scenes,
Yeah.
is and the acting. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is like so good. I can't even imagine being like, because obviously I think on set he was actually in these locations,
Yeah, he was.
wasn't he?
Yep.
Like
Freezing
in the
cold.
minus whatever it was,
Yep.
and trying to act like incredible. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite film.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, it is a good one. Let's go because you said you enjoy your food. Favorite food or takeaway type thing, or maybe favorite place to eat. Food, basically. What's your favorite food?
My food is probably Mexican.
Mexican.
Yeah, as
eh?
a cuisine, yeah.
Okay.
Good, like nachos, fajitas.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Carbs
loads of
upon
cheese.
carbs.
Yeah, cheese
Yeah,
and salt.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sauce. What do you call it?
Guacamole.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing.
Quesadillas.
Yes.
Breakfast burritos. I love Mexican.
Yeah.
so good.
Not all
How about
inclusive.
you? How about you, Gwion?
I like a curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go hot or do you not go hot?
So I'd go medium. I would. Yeah, maybe medium to hot. Not
Like a Madras, a jalfrezi.
Yeah,
what we're talking?
that's it. Jalfrezi. I like. Yeah,
Fusion King.
something like
Try
that.
Fusion King.
You know what? I've actually never been to
I
Fusion
love
King.
Really good, you know.
Yeah,
It's really
I
good.
know. Yeah, nah, Shalom like Asia. Been a few
Mongolian
times.
chicken.
What is it? That chicken? I can't remember the name of it now.
Randang.
Oh, chicken randang.
Yeah, randang.
Try that.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
will do,
Fusion
yeah.
King's
on
lovely.
the list.
Music. What are you into?
That's a tough one. Mixed, you know. I like a bit of everything, really. I like hip hop, country, pop. Depends what mood I'm in as well, I
Yeah.
think.
How about working out? When you do your high rocks, do you
That's
listen
a good
to
one.
music when you do high rocks or not?
Yes, I have to, yeah.
What do you put
so
on?
I'm like fast kind of
Fast tempo?
yeah. What am I can't think of examples, but I've got a playlist and I always play that. And as soon as I hear a song from there, I'm like, I'm in. We're in.
on.
We're on.
I like sort of like drum and bass and stuff like that.
Do
like,
you?
or
Yeah.
metal. So something like aggressive.
Oh,
I
yeah.
suppose.
Trance for me.
How about you? Music.
You know what? I like a lot of genres, but probably hip hop, R&B.
Yeah.
Probably like the early kind of like 2000s, late 90s maybe.
90s,
that kind of
2000s
stuff.
hip hop golden era.
Yeah, that's where I kind of like found music, you know,
Yeah.
when you're in like primary school and like stuff for I don't know, like Chanel-y and kind of that kind of music. And then
I love Notorious B.I.G. from like the
that's
90s.
it.
Tupac.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many good.
there's a lot of
Honestly, I
that.
can't listen to like the rap artists nowadays. They're just awful.
terrible.
Like in comparison to
Oh,
like
I don't know
what
what's
I
happened.
think. I really don't.
LL Cool J, Tupac, Warren G. Remember all them?
Yeah,
Amazing.
no. There's some good
Yeah.
ones. Sorry, is it your go or my go?
I should-
Favorite cereal? I always ask it. I gotta ask it.
I think Sugar Puffs.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
really a massive cereal, but I would probably
Yeah.
go for Sugar
Or
Puffs.
even if you don't, your childhood, most people, you know. But how about yourself?
Mm.
Go on.
Probably Golden Grahams.
Oof.
Yeah. You've got the cinnamon ones.
Yeah, curiously cinnamon.
They
Yeah,
are.
that's
They
like
are.
a close second.
They are great.
Yeah, I love cinnamon. So
Yeah.
they'll be
Yeah.
high up there as well.
That's a good answer.
That was good. I like that. Right, I think that's it.
Happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
thank you so
Yeah, nice
much.
one.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.